Talking to Mr. Steve Hayes, the Public Affairs Officer or the Public Information Officer for the Department of Corrections. And of course, Mr. Hayes, let me apologize for mixing that up. You are the Public Information Officer, not the Public Affairs Officer. Is that correct?
Well, they're interchangeable terms, but I guess it's
the official
Public Information Officer. I serve as a spokesperson for the Department of Correction as well as the Commissioner.
Very good. And of course, let us continue to have you speak for the department as well as the Commissioner by giving us, during this second segment, some information that you feel that our audience ought to have in reference to this system so that they might be better informed.
Well, we were talking about the facilities in the system before the break, and there were a couple of things that I did want to touch on referencing those facilities that we didn't get a chance to. We have the majority of our inmate population is classified as medium security, so that's where the majority of our system beds are in medium security. We also have one minimum security facility, that's the Wayne County Boot Camp, which I referenced in the first segment, and that is just for minimum security inmates. As part of that, we have a boot camp operation where first-time offenders, drug offenses, non-violent offenders are able to sometimes be sentenced by the court or chosen by the department to get a second chance, if you will, at what they've been through or what they've done already. In other words, they are not sent to the another facility. They go through the 90-day boot camp program, and if they successfully complete that, then they are able to be paroled and spend the rest of their sentence while on parole. So it gives them a second chance, you know, at life, I guess, in general terms. Also, I thought maybe you would talk a little bit about what the Public Information Officer does for the Department of Correction. It's, as I said, it was something that at the time that I sought the position, I was looking for a challenge, and it has been that from day one. I think the second day on the job was a very trying and challenging day. It was the scheduled execution of Mr. Robert Glenn Coe, which was the state's first execution in 40 years. So, and the department, which is full of professionals, and I can speak of later in the program as far as our staff, had been obviously preparing for that for years as well as months leading up to that event. But as Public Information Officer, as I said, I'm the spokesperson for the department and for the Commissioner, but a lot of the contact actually comes from the public as well as the media. The public is either calling, emailing, or sending correspondence by mail to the Office of Public Information seeking details about incarcerated individuals, departmental statistics, areas of the department, policy, and so forth. And so it's part of my job to get back to those people and do it in a timely basis, which it sometimes can be quite overwhelming. But we do a good job, and I have some staff that is able to help me from time to time.
Talk about your staff. I think you mentioned that you wanted to talk about them. What about
what I meant when I referenced the staff was the Commissioner and the departmental staff throughout the system. We have a little over 5,000 positions, of which just short of 5,000 are currently filled. A little bit over 3,000 are in security positions in those 14 facilities across the state. So the remainder, only 2%, I might add, make up administration. The rest are professionals. They deal with the mental health needs of the inmate population. We have various departments in central office, such as planning and research, sentence management, very important to make sure that the time calculations for the inmate population are done correctly and done in a timely basis as well.
Speak to that. I mean, how does that work?
I
imagine it's very, very complicated.
It is very complicated. I mean, obviously, one thing the public may not understand is the Department of Correction is an instrument of the courts. We do not punish. We are custodians. We incarcerate individuals. We carry out the sentences as directed by the courts. the courts will mandate a certain sentence for a convicted felon,
Okay.
and it might be calculated, for example, a 10-year sentence calculated at 30%, meaning that that individual has to serve at least 30% before he becomes parole eligible or eligible for release. So it's in sentence management, they have the task of also in that is each month, each day, depending on that inmate, he will receive certain behavioral or work credits or program credits that will also help to reduce his sentence. It is their job in sentence management to make sure all those things are calculated properly so that that inmate is eligible for release when his time comes.
And so so the system is actually arranged so that if an inmate demonstrates something toward rehabilitation, or at least he can work within the system, that there's a possibility that he might meet parole and might get out, or at least have his sentence reduced by his actions, by his own personal actions. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, sir. The majority of the inmate population is in that category. There are some sentences, some sex offenses and so forth, which are mandatory, that they be served at 100%, and then you can actually even back that off down to 85%. But for the majority of the population, I guess at this point I could talk a little bit about what the inmates do on a daily basis. 93% of our inmate population or thereabouts that are assignable to either an educational or work program are in some kind of a program, whether that's trying to get their GED or another educational program, a work program, or vocational, or some type of social program, whether that is for drug offenders or sex offenders. So the majority of our inmates are in some kind of a program, a rehabilitative program to help them later on in life, but also they will receive the credits so that they can reduce the time that they need to spend with the Tennessee Department of Correction.
Well, do you find over the last 41 seconds before we make our commercial break, do you find that they respond well to this? Do you find that there are many inmates that try to do good so that they might be able to take advantage of
there are inmates that do try, that apply themselves. You know, we require that they are in these programs, so many of them get out of it what they put into it.
But it is possible that no matter what the situation might have been, that an individual can get a second chance in terms of having his sentence reduced a little if he or she works within the system.
Yes, right? Again, but directed by the court.
Okay, and of course, let us take this second commercial break. Mr. Hayes will be back with our audience following this very